Blah, 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 blah. What's up, Howard?
You know, I just got dinner waiting on the stove, man.
All right. We'll make this one fast. We will make this one faster than Janae hitting the floor.
Wow.
Damn. There you go. Right off the bat. No class.
There it is.
This is John Papa Giorgio. The show's Papa's Basement. InPapa'sBasement.com, show's website. I'm joined today by Howard Flood, off camera, for those of you who are watching currently live on YouTube.
Oh, that's what took you so long to set up. I forget you do that now.
Yeah, I snuck on a little visual element. They get to see all this visage.
You should take the zipper down a little bit on that sweatshirt.
Give it a little cleave.
Yeah.
Nice. I like
Some of that chest hair.
Sex sells.
Oh, that's your shirt. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference.
Yes, there's a dense dark color underneath, but it's just a green t-shirt and not my Greek chest pube forest. So for those that are not in the know or don't really care about sports news, or
dude, this is not sports news. This is the front page of every paper.
This is everything.
Website.
I know, but my 70-year-old, 71-year-old mom is going to be like, who is Ray Rice? Because that's how they talk when they get like that. Except for mine, she's still loud as shit.
Well, she still knows the words NFL running back, right? So.
Yeah, she'll know what's going on. By the way, this is not a dirty episode. I will have to catch my naughty that I just made right there.
All right.
So for the two of you that don't know, Ray Rice, who's been in the news for several months now for having clocked his then-fiancee, now wife, Janae something or other.
Palmer, I think. I can't remember.
Palmer? I don't know. I wish it was Janae Green. I used to fool around with a black chick from Baltimore named Janae. It may or may not have been Janae Green. I'm realizing I probably shouldn't put her name out in public like that, but she was an awful human being. So if she had her teeth rattled loose like that, I'd be cheering for the man.
Wow.
And trying to battle his suspension down to nil. So a couple months ago, this took place in, I believe, AC, right? Atlantic City?
Yeah, and Atlantic City Casino Hotel elevator.
Vegas' incredibly trashy little brother. Just a horrible place. If you've never been to Atlantic City and you think it's going to be like the Vegas of the East, just stay the hell away. It's a dirt hole. It really is bad.
There's an excellent documentary, I believe it's on HBO, about Atlantic City crack whores.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Boardwalk Empire.
No, I was thinking more of the 80s.
You're right. That wasn't you going for
a
joke. There really was like a documentary on Atlantic City crack whores, and I remember watching it.
You turned to it thinking like, this is going to be so funny, and it's like, oh my gosh.
My soul hurts. I didn't know there was a human soul before this, and now I'm convinced there is one, and I hurt right in the middle of it.
So I learned a long time ago that Atlantic City is where dreams go to die. But
it's a horrible place. So horrible. So a couple months ago, there was footage of Ray Rice just dragging his unconscious fiancée out of an elevator in an AC casino. And, well, it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes or Poirot to figure out what went down exactly. He cold-cocked her, and he faced what was a pretty laughable suspension when they got down to it. 2 games. I know for performance-enhancing drugs, you get 4 games.
No, for weed, you get 4 games.
No. It's PEDs are 4. Weed is, I think,
it's 4.
1.
No, it's 4. It's the same.
Really?
Same treatment, man. That's why they're making the joke about recreational drugs versus domestic violence. It was taking Molly gets you 4. Punching Molly gets you 2.
Okay.
That was the joke that was being put out there.
So the outcry, there's been outcry over this. The entirety of the comedic and really just the world in general has crapped all over Roger Goodell and the NFL for doling out what I think pretty much all of us can agree was a really, really light penalty. Especially, look at the suspension in terms of what they gave Roethlisberger a couple years ago for something he was never brought up on charges for. Like, we all joked that he raped a broad in a hotel or whatever, but in truth, it turned out she was a real psycho, if I recall.
No, like him and his buddies are assholes.
Yeah, okay, look, he's no saint. I can see him raw dogging anything that will bend over in front of him. But in my heart of hearts, I believe he did nothing that wasn't consensual with that chick, and he wound up getting a 6-game suspension that was lowered to 4.
I can't believe we're fighting about Roethlisberger right now, but no, I think what he did was like very much on the edge, like in that beyond gray territory. I think what he did was.
Are we talking about bathroom rape or
bathroom rape?
Oh, bathroom rape was just a little rapey. I'll give you that.
No.
I'm talking about the psycho broad. I thought, was that not the one that? Okay, did that not get him 6?
Are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
There were 2 incidents.
Okay.
With that rapey,
I think it was
rapey man.
It was the bathroom incident.
All right, bathroom was a little. I'm not.
That's the one that got him the serious suspension.
I'm talking about the chick who was joking, like emailing her friends about the fact that she had sex with him, and it was like calling herself Mrs. Roethlisberger and that stuff. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait, I was raped. He's not returning my calls. He raped the hell out of me. This is no longer funny. That bitch can burn in hell. All right, so he got 6 reduced to 4 for whatever the hell he did, which was never really conclusively proven. Yada yada yada. I'm not really gonna stick up for Mr. Rapist. 2 games for beating a woman's face in, knocking her out cold. That's nada. So in the wake of that, they've increased the penalties. First time for domestic is 6 games instead of whatever the hell it was. They didn't really have a set penalty in place before that. And year-long suspension, I believe.
Possibly indefinite after that.
Yeah, possibly indefinite. What broke today was a video released by TMZ. I love, by the way, that the hardest-hitting journalism in the country, the only journalists that dig for a damn thing in this world anymore, work for TMZ.
Well, in sports in particular.
I'm just
TMZ
saying,
will always
especially in sports. But I'm just saying, this day and age, you're not getting Woodward and Bernstein finding the Watergate tapes. You're getting someone who's gonna get footage of, Janae getting her jaw cracked.
Yeah, well, part of that has to do with the overall problem that you have with sports media and its close connection to organizations like the NFL. I mean, to me,
they're so in bed with each other. Isn't like the Times the official newspaper of the Redskins right now or something? Like it's insane.
Yeah, no, there's always a
buddy
bidding war, and so there's no desire to find out exactly what happened really for the major papers because, they need that programming. They desperately need NFL games on NBC, CBS, Fox. Whereas TMZ, I mean, yeah, they're a gossip mag basically, but they have no stake. They have no skin in the game when it comes to making money off of sports. So they're the only ones who are going to go out and really dig for this, apparently.
Well, boy, did they hit a home run. And I mean, they've hit them in the past, but holy, this was a grand slam. They got the actual footage of Ray Rice decking his fiancée. And let me just say, she went down like this was Punch-Out and he had hit the star button. If you remember playing Mike Tyson as a final boss as a kid, and he just flashed, and all of a sudden Little Mac was on the canvas, that's what this punch was like. This guy, I swear to God, could have been like a middleweight if he wanted. This is the fastest punch you're going to see.
What you pointed out to me, and I don't know where you got this from, but it's the reaction after the punch that you really highlighted to me is the real problem with Ray Rice here.
Oh, the way that he drops her, and instead of immediately shrieking, "Oh my God,"
what have I done?
Yeah, almost doing a Red Fox clutching his chest. It's just a smack of the lips and, oops, gotta drag this KO'd bitch again. This doesn't look like Mr. Rice's first time at the knockout rodeo.
See, and yet, here's my thing. Having seen the video today, could have guessed that's exactly what had happened in the elevator based on the old footage where they had only shown, prior to today, the video of him dragging his then-fiancee out of the elevator. I had a pretty good idea, as you pointed out at the beginning of the show. I had a pretty good idea of what happened in that elevator.
If you see footage of me walking into an elevator with Howard, and I'm holding a shotgun, and 30 seconds later I'm dragging Howard's headless corpse out of an elevator, guess what? I probably shot Howard. You don't need the footage to put that together, do you?
And I guess the weirdest thing about the story to me is I don't know why we're talking about the indefinite suspension and the Ravens cutting him today. Because these are things that should have happened previously. This is not something that...
Everyone dropped the ball on this. So the commission's excuse, for those that don't know, he immediately, Goodell goes into spin control. He claims the NFL did not see this footage before this incident, which seems like BS for a variety of reasons, not the least of which they're a huge organization that's probably going to want to cover their ass against everything they can. But Goodell himself in a prior life was a lawyer. You're telling me he's just, when the video was released already to Ray Rice, and probably law enforcement agencies have it, You think he's content to just be like, well, this is what I've seen via a website?
Not like I myself am a lawyer, and I can tell you exactly how you make sure that you never see a video like that.
Okay.
You talk to the police. It's like, okay, so we have this footage of outside the elevator. Does the casino have a camera inside the elevator? Yes, they do. Do you guys have that footage? Yes, we do. Okay, well, that's not going to get out, is it? No, we'll keep it that way. We'll never see it, because that's going to be the story. If you've never actually seen it because you made sure that someone had control of it, that's the story you can tell the public. They had to have gone out of their way to make sure that they never saw the
You're
footage.
saying they buried
inside.
their heads in the sand on it.
Absolutely, they were
And I
willfully
thought you were
blind
going
to
to say
it.
the technique for making sure no one saw the tape was pulling the VHS out of the VCR and writing kid porn in marker on it across it. I figured that technique,
No,
either
this
or.
is there's a way to make sure that you don't see something that you don't want to see. And
Okay,
that's
so-
I think the level that they went to, because they wanted this to go away.
You're going with willing ignorance.
It's
I'll believe that. I'll believe that. So this gets out. NFL suspends Rice indefinitely. Ravens cut him. Also, very nice that the Ravens didn't give a crap to tag on any games whatsoever to the suspension. They could have said, you know what? NFL gave you 2. We're going to give you another 6 because you're a piece of crap. He came back, if you remember, I believe preseason or during practices, to a standing ovation from the crowds,
Jeez.
for going through this. And look, I'm not going to get on my high horse. I can't say I've ever cold-cocked a woman. And I do find crime and punishment in general fascinating. Like, to what degree what do you have to commit before you are known forever by what is your worst moment, at least publicly? Like Bill Clinton, we know he's an unfaithful guy, right?
Right.
He cheated in the Oval Office with Monica Lewinsky, at the least. And yet, when you look at Bill Clinton 20 years later, you don't first think of him shoving cigars into interns, right? He's allowed to live past that. His worst day is in the rear view. But it's funny, you get beyond a certain point. Like, you look at Charles Manson, and you're never like, oh, he's the silly guy who gave those tapes to one of the Wilson brothers back in the day. He had a music career. No, Charles Manson's a killer. He's a cult leader, and that's all he's ever going to be. Similarly, Chris Brown. There's never going to come a time where you see Chris Brown 10, 15 years from now, and you don't think of Rihanna's mashed-in face.
Right.
And Ray Rice, he's in the same place. You're never... It's weird to me that Baltimore was cool with forgiving him and, like, applauding the fans were in that day, that day he came out to practice.
I guess
for
what
the first time.
alarms me the most in talking about crime and punishment, and this relates more to his accomplices in this, really, which is the NFL and the Ravens, is they were really hoping to get away with bringing him back without this videotape surfacing.
Absolutely. You cannot get mad at Ray Rice and not get mad at the NFL or the Ravens. What do you think the 2 games were about? They just wanted it to be like, let's get him back. We know you fantasy owners want to draft the guy, you knuckleheads.
Because he won a rushing title, I believe. This is
like
a guy who
2 years ago or something.
Yeah, so this is a guy that
He was hot. It's like, had this happened a year earlier, he had a crap year last year.
Yeah.
Had this happened a year earlier, this would have been that much bigger.
Right. And this is the problem for me, that it looks like he's only being punished now in front of the public, and
Because we
everybody's...
know.
This is why I just want people to not accept what the NFL is doing as like them finally doing the right thing. This is them covering their own butts. This is them really trying to make sure that they get in line with everybody else to be mad at Ray Rice, when in fact they need to be standing up there right with him. Because I'm with you on this as far as I don't know when we can look at Ray Rice and look past this, but I certainly know that he's now not just he's not just the problem, but he's indicative of a bigger problem. And so I don't know where you want to talk about this issue first. If you want to keep focusing on, like, when do we let him back into the NFL? Can he ever come back? Is he ever allowed to be a public figure in the future? Or should he just, like, basically be offed because he has no chance at ever being accepted in public ever again.
I personally, I think the NFL, now that this comes out, dumps as big a load as they can on this guy to make them look better. To be like, holy God, look how we're sticking it to Ray Rice. But you're 100% correct. If they had their druthers, we would have heard about the 2-game suspension and gone, well, thank God he's not going to be out that long. Thank God they were nice enough to only give him 2. Had they given him 4 or 6, I really would have been upset with them. But thank God they only went with 2. They really saw it. I swear to Christ that people would have been really pissed had he had been missing for an extra amount of time, because they would have loved the narrative of like, okay, the Ravens had their first year where they missed the playoffs under Flacco and under Harbaugh, but look, they're back. They didn't want to be seen as tinkering with that, much more than they cared about punishing this guy for caving a broad's face in. And that's another thing, by the way, that his defense floated before this tape came out. They're like, hey, look, I mean, she was knocked out cold, and he's an athlete who deals with 350-pound men crushing his skulls in, and she weighs $110. But there's a chance that she antagonized this. You know, she hit him, and he was defending himself. You watch this footage. The goddamn Tyson Spinks match lasted about 80 seconds longer, and I believe that was what, 88?
Yeah.
Yeah. She gives him a swat. Now, Howard, you've had a swat from a girl, right?
Right.
They find your cell phone, you did something, you know, texted something you shouldn't.
Pretty sure you don't deliver a right cross as a proportional response.
Yeah, especially if you can preach or curl 225.
I think you can do a little bit more than that. So
exactly. This is a man who is muscle and bone and rage. And he cold cocks this chick, it looks like as hard as he can, because she goes down. I mean, there's something terrifying in how out cold she is. This video would have been 10 times better for him if she just rubbed her jaw and looked woozy and went to one knee. He hits her and life escapes her body for a bit. That's what makes it so damn creepy.
And yet, I don't understand how this sheds new light on something that we all already know about.
It doesn't. They just got caught with their hands in the cookie jar finally.
And so I guess that's part of my problem now with the way that everyone is approaching the situation, because it's going back to this crime and punishment aspect of this whole situation. Everybody wants to let everyone else know their opinion of like how condemned Ray Rice should be, that this is an awful thing. And the hardest part about these situations is the victim here is now his wife. And so his livelihood has just been taken from him. How does this actually affect the person who got clocked? I think